Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm gonna play 789. We're actually back here with another video talking about Days Gone, one of my favorite games, honestly, this year, and maybe one of my top favorite of all times as well. There, I want to say top five. I was gonna say, but it definitely is. I'll tell you that right now. But I'm gonna compare my review and to others as well, IGN and GameSpot mostly. I noticed, and Metacritic as well. But honestly, we're gonna start off with IGN's review and things like that as well. So, what do I think happened? The main thing I want to say here is that most of their reviews that I just said, like Metacritic, like I said, IGN, and even what's it called, the GameSpot, I want to talk about here. So the people that reviewed the game, I want to talk about Days Gone first, because the game's amazing. From the gameplay, I want to say the story was the main thing that kept me intrigued the whole time. And a lot of people really didn't like the story. I don't understand what was the idea with the story as well. I think the idea for me was I thought it was pretty solid. A lot of people didn't enjoy it. I don't understand what was wrong there. I don't know. A lot of people say it was too cliche. I was like, what is this bullshit? I guess it just depends who you are. The voice acting was amazing as hell, though. I want to say that right now. But I forgot the guy's name who plays Deacon. I think it was Tim something. I think it's Winters or Weathers or something like that. I'm sorry if I got that wrong, but he was amazing, honestly, as playing Deacon as well. And they put a lot of time and effort into this game, and you could tell. And a lot of people were even saying that it wasn't even ready for the PlayStation 4. I could somewhat agree with that because the frame rate drops here and there sometimes. It's not a big deal, though. It doesn't affect me overall. It's just like a minor bug. Does that really affect people? Not really. The loading screen, somewhat, I heard, was started to piss people off later. I mean, you only had it for like maybe the first, I want to say, 3 hours of the game that really bugged you. But, like, it took a little bit longer to load. But after that, it was like cutscene, 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 and there was like no loading. So I don't know what's going on with that. A lot of people were still bitching about that. I heard even some of my friends were even talking about that. They said it wasn't as annoying as it was later on in the game where it got easier and there was barely any loading screens. So that was actually a positive thing in my opinion. I don't know if they fixed it or not. That's what I heard as well. They fixed it in I think 1.06 or 07 patch. But who knows? I think it was pretty done well. The game is over 60 gigabytes right now. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, every game right now comes out with over 60 gigabytes, but yeah, the gameplay is amazing, honestly. I like the crafting system as well. A lot of people didn't go over that in the reviews as well, I noticed. Nobody talked about the crossbow bolts, how you make them, the Molotovs, the napalm ones, the grenades, and I believe smoke bombs and stuff like that. Nobody really ever talked about creating those. So I was like, what's going on with that here? I mean, you're telling me you never played the game or something? I don't know, that's just my personal opinion. Like, people that are making these reviews, they didn't go over the gameplay, they didn't go over the bike as well. They were talking about the bike as visuals mostly than what you can upgrade it. So you can put like all this nitrous stuff on it as well, nitrous 1 and 2. There's only up to 2 as of right now, I noticed. They also have, what's it called? The gas tank 1 through 5, which I thought was pretty done well. 1 through 5 is pretty solid. We don't need too much gas, right? I think it's only 4 right now. I haven't found the 5th one since earlier in the game. I don't know if that's just at a certain camp. I don't remember where it was at. Maybe it was at Copeland's camp. I'm not really sure. But that was really done as well, I think. And the camp credits I thought were awesome. They are transversal, I noticed on later. I don't think they were in the beginning of the game or something like that. I don't think they actually were transversal from Copeland's camp to Lost Lake to Tucker's camp. But now they actually are. I'm not sure if that was a glitch for me earlier in the game or I just spent that much money and I wasn't paying attention. But, I think they did that like fantastically, honestly. There's nothing wrong with that there. I enjoyed it. Customizing your bike, that was well done as well. Nobody really went over stuff like that. I think customizing your bike was one of the best parts of the game. That was always with you at the same time. It's Deacon's basically best friend there. And I loved customizing the bike. I thought it was fun to do. I really enjoyed it. The story, I thought, like I just said earlier, best part of the game in my personal opinion. The story is around, I want to say 40 something to 60 hours. I'm going to probably just go all saying on a limb here. I'm not sure like what it actually was. I think it was like 39, maybe 45 hours, honestly. The cutscenes I think were a little bit longer. They said that it was around 30 hours a game. I doubt it. It felt a little bit longer. The cutscenes were a little bit longer as well. I noticed. I timed that. It was about I think 7 to 8. I think it was about 9 hours I must have worth of cutscenes. And I think that was definitely worth it. Now I really enjoyed that. A lot of people didn't. I definitely compared this game to Red Dead's length. I would say Red Dead 2. And I think that was amazing. I love long games as well. You don't see a lot of people do that anymore. But if they do, it's just not done well. Now, a lot of people are saying like the gameplay was repetitive as well. I didn't see anything really repetitive. I know they were like clearing out the camps was a little bit. That's only side missions though. You do that throughout the story maybe 3 to 6 times. You don't overdo it. I don't see any really repetitive missions, honestly, then. The chasing down the guys, clearing camps, that was mostly it. What else was repetitive during missions? So maybe they're talking about side missions or they didn't fully play the game. That's what I'm going to say right now. It's either they didn't play the game fully or they don't know what the hell they're talking about. And a lot of people were talking about, I'm going to say GameSpot right here. The person actually said that Deacon St. John basically was selfish. Now, if you played the full game, he wasn't a selfish guy. Like, sure, maybe for the first, I want to say hour he was actually pretty selfish. Yeah, sure. He was probably selfish for maybe the first hour, 2 hours into the game, because he only cared about him and Boozer until he met Copeland's camp and stuff like that. He didn't really care for them. Sure, why would he? He barely stays there. He barely knows anybody. He's just there just to get his camp credits and stuff like that, and his bounties. I mean, how's that being selfish? I mean, if you were saying he was selfish, why did he care about his wife still then? What about that? Why did he care about Boozer then? Even though he was with him, that's his best friend. And he cared about Lost Lake as well during like middle of the game when he got there. He cared about Ricky, he cared about Addy, he cared about Iron Mike as well. He didn't want him to die even when Schizo wanted like basically to Caesar him and get him killed. And he still cared about Iron Mike for that. So I don't know where these people are playing the game or not. I'm not sure if they're just sitting there reviewing the game, not even caring, or they just fully don't understand gaming or something. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. Like they didn't understand the game as well. I mean, I thought the game was done very well with that as well. And I'm sorry to keep saying well, I say like 30 times, but yeah, I thought that was pretty good. I didn't think there's anything wrong with that. Deacon cared for everybody if you think about it. Even what's his name as well, he cared for a little bit later on. Skizzo, he actually kind of liked him a little bit, even though then he betrayed him. And then he started to care for Corey after that, because you know Corey saved him and everything like that. He kind of respected him and everything like that. And Corey went on his way. He wanted his help a little bit, but he didn't give it that. That's nothing wrong with that as well. Then there was the O'Brien missions. I forgot they were somewhat repetitive as well, but that added more to the story, so I really didn't care about that. Like, it really didn't bug me that we were doing the same thing. Maybe it did in the early beginning. I mean, we did about 7 or 8 times. I mean, that was pretty cool that we learned about the story. I love that. We learned about the freakers and everything like that, and why they're, mutating and everything like that and evolving. Like from, I think her name was Lieutenant Booth, was one of the scientists who was doing that, and they were talking about that they were actually keeping jewelry and things like that on them, like it was a memory thing. And then I forget what one of the editors, I think it might have been IGN or it might have been GameSpot. I think it was GameSpot here, and they cut this out of the review as well, that there wasn't nobody black in the game. I don't know. They felt that was racist, and they said it was another white male. I don't think anybody who bought this game was thinking that. I mean, who thinks about a game? Oh, it's a black guy. I'm not gonna play the game. Oh, it's a white guy. I'm not gonna play the game. I don't think anybody cares about that, honestly. I don't think that. They were going to put that in there, and they said, why is there no black zombies? They went over this in the story if you played the game, first of all. They said it, I believe, on one of the O'Brien missions. I think. Yeah, they said it affected the pigment of your skin or something like that. I'm pretty sure as well. It was during one of the O'Brien missions. I want to say it was one of the snowy ones. I'm pretty sure, and they said something like that. And I don't understand what people are thinking with this game, man. They just wanted to give it a lot of shit for no reason. I think they weren't getting paid or something for it, honestly. Think about this. It's like, did they not get a bonus or something? Think about this. This game had a lot. Okay, I can understand there was some repetitive missions. There wasn't too many. Look at Assassin's Creed Odyssey. How many repetitive missions were in there? Exactly. There was about over probably 35, maybe. I don't even know. That whole game was repetitive, and that's why the main reason I stopped playing it. And the story was not on par. And there's people complaining about the gameplay of the gun skill. Are you joking? I was watching this one person review the game, and I forget what it was. They had the AK gun all the way up until the ending and saying how terrible it was. No joking. Like the guy played the whole game. This person played the whole game, and they were complaining how bad the gun was. Why would you still run a level 1 gun throughout the whole game? Of course it's terrible. That's why it's there in the beginning of the game to help you out. That's all it's there for. Of course the aim's not going to be good. You can go to the Nero checkpoints and upgrade the focus if you want to make the gun a little bit better as well. And there's freaking the skill trees to make this gun better as well. So, I mean, I don't understand if people are playing the game right or they just didn't understand it. Now, I personally think they did a pretty decent job with the weapon wheel. There's nothing really wrong with it. I kind of like the Molotovs. They were pretty easy to go through. But when you had too many in the, Molotov inventory, it was kind of hard to move around it for some reason. I'm not sure if that was like a little bug or anything like that as well. The game runs really smoothly. It runs around 30 to 60 frames. I mean, I have a 60 frame TV, so it works somewhat well in 60 frames. You can't really tell sometimes, but it looks really stunning, I'll say that right now. It doesn't seem like it was meant for the PlayStation 4. The PS5 would definitely handle this game. I can't actually wait to play this game on the PS5 when that comes out, because they said that like the Spider-Man game, the fast travel time would be so much faster. So I want to see this game's fast time as well through the cutscenes. That would look amazing, I think. So I'm very excited for this game. I loved it, honestly. Some of the people at IGN just didn't know what they were talking about, I want to say as well, and GameSpot. They didn't fully play the game. I don't think they really cared. I don't know if they just didn't understand it or something. But I honestly thought it was a good game. I think 1 to 10, I definitely give it a 9.5 as of right now. There's nothing really wrong with it. The evolving zombies or freakers, this is what I want to talk about as well. People called them zombies as they were reviewing the game. They said, why not just call them zombies? Well, there's a reason why they're not called zombies. These guys are actually smart. So, I mean, there's a problem here if you didn't understand that if you're playing the game. They were still calling them zombies. There's a reason why they're not zombies. And this is why the developers kept saying that they weren't zombies as well. They said they're freakers. They said that several times on purpose because if you played the story and you listened to the O'Brien missions here, they're actually talking about how they're evolving, and they're actually, like I just said before, they're wearing jewelry and stuff like that as well. And it's kind of crazy to think about that. They're smart enough to do things, or they migrate, they get water and stuff like that. So I don't even know what to say anymore, man. The game was amazing overall. I love the story. With the Jesse guy with the Rippers, that was freaking amazing. I love every part of that. And just blowing up the dam as well when you're Deacon and Boozer. That was freaking awesome as well. I don't understand the scores for this game. Overall, for me, like I just said before, it's definitely a 9.5. Would I give it a 10? I think I would have gave it a 10 if there was less, I would say, bugs. I think there's, like, I didn't have too many bugs on the game. I just had many frame rate drops. I'll lower the score just because, like, people are bitching about the repetitiveness. It didn't bug me. I thought it was a pretty solid game. I mean, if you think about it, all these companies gave Call of Duty a bigger score, Mortal Kombat, and if you want to get this deep, Batman Arkham Knight. Think about that. Batman Arkham Knight is a tremendous game, and they had several repetitive missions, and then they gave the game, I think, a 9.7. Now, think about that. How many missions did they? There were so many repetitive missions in Arkham Knight. There's so many things repetitive in that game, but nobody bitched about it then, and now we're bitching about it. This game had nothing, no microtransactions. That's what I want to talk about here. This game had no microtransactions. They gave Mortal Kombat a higher score. What the fuck are they thinking over there? Listen, I hate microtransactions now. I said that for the last several years. I was saying on my channel, and I even played Black Ops 3, and let me tell you something. Black Ops 4 just did a terrible thing as well. That's why I'm going to give my review out tomorrow. As you see this video, I'm going to give my Black Ops 4 review on the new Spectre Rising, I think it's called. And it's just ridiculous, man. They give higher scores for video games that have basically microtransactions that screw the player over. It's ridiculous. I don't understand what was going on here. I think they just wanted to give a lot of shit on this game because it's a PlayStation game as well, and they've been doing so well. And hold up here, like this game, had a different name at first too. I'll never forget that. It was called Days Gone By. I'll never forget that. And they changed the title a bit later. The trailers were amazing leading up to this game, and they are very responsive to the community on Twitter. They'll respond usually. I thought that was amazing. These guys are really awesome, and they cared about their game. I just hope that Ben Studios has another opportunity on the PlayStation 5 to make another game in the next 2 to 3 years. I think the game was amazing. There's so many things they can explore as well in the secret cutscene that the video came out yesterday. You probably saw it. Maybe you didn't. Link will down in the description below if you want to see it. And I just thought it was an amazing job, we learned about different communities from Tucker and Alkai's community. We learned about Copeland's. We learned about Lost Lake, which was awesome, and that felt like Deacon's home. And then Deacon stayed there because he cared about all the people. And some of the people were saying that he's selfish, like I said earlier, and he's not really a selfish guy, He just cared about his wife and his best friend, and then he cared about that community with Ricky and Natty. He started to care for everybody. So, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down below if you played the game as well. If you didn't pick up this game, I would say pick it up because I was very skeptical about that as well. I didn't know it was going to be a good game or not. And I pre-ordered this game back in December, I'm pretty sure. And I was like, oh, this game's going to be freaking awesome. I can't wait for it. It just looks amazing, all the trailers and everything like that. Because I got invested into it, and I heard it was going to be a bigger game. And it did a really good job. And that's all I want to say here. I'm going to leave it at that. Let me know if you played the game. What is your review? What would you give the score? I'd definitely give it a 9.5 out of 10. And it's just a great game overall. But if there's anything new in May, I'll cover the game for that. We do have some new stuff coming out in June for free. I will cover that on the channel. And if there's anything else except that, if there's any more Days Gone news, I will update you on that. But thank you guys for watching. The sub button helps the channel grow. I hope you kind of like my review here. Give me your thoughts and opinions, like I said several times. And yeah, thank you honestly for sticking around and watching my whole review if you did. I'm sorry if I got a little repetitive in the talking. But other than that, thank you guys for watching. And yeah, boy.